Melissa and I were on the phone early in the morning, and she and I made the call for IMO together, right? We said, nope, we're not going to do this. Hours later is when HIMSS actually canceled its conference. And so that was a trial by fire in many ways, because not only had we invested oodles of time, but oodles of money, oodles of hotel and plane and food reservations and all of this stuff. And suddenly that evaporated. And so part of, I think, the biggest success for us this year was, one, being able to think and move quickly. But I'm gonna tout my team for a second, because we all got together in a room. I think that was a Thursday when we made that call. We all got together in a room on Friday, and what had immediately started to happen, which you're still seeing, is, but at that point in late February, early March, it was really different. You started to see people scramble and say, okay, we have a trade show next week. We're not going to be able to do it. Like, let's create 1 million webinars and blah, blah, blah. But the technology platforms weren't in place. Like, none of that stuff was ready. That's a different way of saying a whole bunch of people in my industry, at least around HIMSS, started to swim upstream. And what they tried to do is recreate an in-person experience in a virtual way in 5 days. My team said, that's bonkers. We're not going to swim upstream. We're going to swim downstream. Like, we are literally going to let ourselves float. And what we did is developed a campaign that was called No Travel Required. And what we leaned into was, for everybody being disappointed about not being able to go to a trade show, think about all the things you complain about when you have to travel, like not getting enough sleep, like having to glad hand with everybody and their brother, like having to make or miss or lose flight connections. And so part of what we did was built a whole digital campaign that said, yep, it's too bad that this stuff got canceled. We're not going to cram you into a whole bunch of webinars next week. Instead, we're going to engage with you on your time while you're sorting out your world. And the best part of this is, ding, 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 no travel required. And so we did a bunch of really creative visual stuff my team built. We did a whole bunch of different messaging that all focused on themes that basically said, again, for all the disappointment, think about all the benefits you get from having to be able to think about challenges and problems that you might be having in your business without having to actually go somewhere to do that. And one, it was a resounding success. Our website traffic went through the roof in March. And of course, some of that was happening organically as people couldn't travel and migrated to different things. But I think the fact that we didn't tie ourselves in knots trying to, frankly, cobble some crap together, which is, I think, what a lot of people did. They got better at it over time. But in those early days, I think it was the Wild West, right? We didn't twist ourselves in knots